your spiritual nomad, Montre Bible. Yep, that's my real last name. And I wanted to talk more about the Rh negative bloodline and its origins. My mother just called me and she's just been flipping out about this since she's seen some videos. And also, the algorithm is starting to feed more to her about Rh negative. And she's Rh positive. So she's a half breed. And both me and my sister, who has a different father, are both Rh negative. So it's blown her mind the more she finds out about it because she's discovered TikTok. And now it's the algorithm is sending her all these videos about Rh negative people. And maybe you've seen them too, and you have questions about like what is the origin? What is so special about people who have Rh negative blood? Well, I want to go into more detail about it and like some of my theories about it. So, if you don't know about Rh negative, people with the bloodline with Rh negative typically are said to be out of this world, that we're from some royal bloodline, or maybe that we're part alien. And I don't want to go too far on that direction, but they do say that we have special gifts. We have the ability to see. As you can see, I'm a tarot reader, and I'm very sensitive to just things that are unknown. And many other Rh negative people also have an interest in the unknown things. Also, we seem to have like a sexual energy. I've noticed that a lot of us have the ability to attract people. A lot of us have the ability to make money or attract money. I think that goes along with energy because money is energy. So if you know how to control energy, you know how to control money. But all of that goes into play with the spiritual world being able to change energy, to see things, to feel the energy of others, and sometimes that can be negative. Okay, so we know that a majority of the U.S. presidents have Rh negative blood. Is that a coincidence? And that most of them are related in some form or fashion. But is it a coincidence that they're all Rh negative? Well, not all of them, but a good majority of them are. And so I wanted to go into more detail about that. With that being said, Rh negative does make us a little bit different. We're only about 15% of the population, but here we are. And it's we're still being like birthed in every group. Like I know a few black people who are Rh negative, even though we're even a smaller percentage of those Rh negative people overall. Most of them are Caucasian. And it's kind of weird to me that it kind of works out that way. Now for people who are Rh positive, what does that mean? I think that a lot of people have the trait or the Rh negative trait to pass on to people, but it's just not showing up in on their bloodline. So, and I'm going to prove that in a little bit. Well, I'm just going to show you some stuff, and it's from the Book of Enoch. And I don't know if you guys have actually read the Book of Enoch, but it's very interesting. And I have my theory. I won't say it's a fact, but it's a theory, and I'm just going to leave it at that. That we are children of the angels, or we have angel blood in us. So if you look at Genesis 6 and 1, the sons of God came down and they had took wives. Now, are we the children of the Nephilim? No, that's a different group. That was the first wave. And they got punished. The angels got punished for breeding with humans and creating these hybrids. And what happened was a lot of these people became giants, and they were like super tall, and they were destructive, and they were carnivores, and they were eating people, and it just got really messy really quick. But there's another story that I want to share with you guys, and I have a theory because of the angels, when they started taking wives and having these half breed humans with the angels and humans, and they came out kind of like mutants. And think about the TV show X-Men, mutants, like straight up. But they also had powers and abilities, and their wives were able to cast magic and do all types of things. So these people got forbidden. These people got punished really hard, and this is why the flood came. Well, we're going to back up just a little bit. So we all know the flood story. This flood story with Noah is repeated a few times in history. Once as Noah, another as Zasudra is another. I think it's a Babylon. What Zasudra is I forget what Zasudra is. Let's look. There's Zasudra, Noah, and Atrahasis. and Utnapishtim. And I want to bring that up to your knowledge, and you can just Google it if you want to know more about them. But I want to share this with you guys. And this is from the book of Enoch. So we're going to start there. Let me get my story time. Let me put this over here. Well, that was probably better. Which view? I think I should be smaller, right? You can't see that. There. Okay. Yeah, you can see that really good right there. So I'm going to read this. This is from the book of Enoch. And it basically says, it goes into the more into the story that was about Noah and his birth. And a lot of people don't know this story, and I can see why it was taken out. So this is the fragment book of Noah. This is from the book of Enoch, chapter 106. Lord have mercy. There's a lot of chapters in that book. And it says, after some days, my son Methuselah, this is Enoch talking, took a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. His body was white as snow. Look at that. White as snow and red as a blooming rose. And the and the hair on his head and his long locks were white as wool, and his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. Dude has glowing eyes. It doesn't sound very normal to me. He lit up the whole house. And thereupon he arose in the hands of the midwife, opened his mouth, and conversed with the Lord of righteousness. So he can talk. And his father Lamech was afraid of him and fled. I would have fled too, and came to his father Methuselah. That's the guy who lived for a long time. He was like the oldest human during that time, or the oldest human to live overall. And he said to him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of God of heaven. So what can we assume here? That this guy is his son, Noah, is white as snow. I'm just going to assume if his dad is not white as snow, perhaps his dad is like African descent. And he's saying that the sons of God, he looks like the sons of God. So we're going to also make a big assumption that majority, if not all, angels are very white. And this is where not just, Caucasian white, but super white. So we've seen this kind of like in what was that movie? Uh it's like not the Predator, but they have these big, tough white aliens, or the tall whites. A lot of people talk about the Palladians, but majority of these angels, if not all of these beings, have white skin. And also, this is where we get kind of uh, this issue where when it comes to people with white skin or even people that are lighter in tone, that seems to get more approval because I think deep down humans have this thing where whiteness is kind of associated with divinity, and the whiter or the lighter, the whiter or the lighter you are, they were like, oh, they're closer to God, you know. And it's just not with just white people, because even white people do it to white people because there's like, oh, the fairer she is, she's got blonde hair. Um, the Japanese want to be the lightest of all Asian people. The Koreans do it too. Africans do skin lightening. Indians do skin lightening. Everybody wants to be lighter. But where does that come from? It has to come from some place, and we just can't blame it's a white man and putting his ideas in our head. No, this comes from a long way back where there's this inner tradition that associates whiteness with divinity. But we all have it. We all have this blood in us, and this is why. Because Noah has it, and Noah was basically the patriarch of the world that we have now. Because that was the deluge after the first destruction of mankind, and then Noah survived. But it's saying Noah has got white skin. He's like albino, and he's the patriarch of basically the survivors of humanity now. Now, how many times have we gone through destructions? I don't know, but there's many stories of destroying the world. So he says, "I begotten a son diverse, unlike man, and resembling the sons of God in heaven, and his nature is different, and he's not like us. And his eyes are as the rays of the sun." It's just pretty scary if you ask me. If I had a son and all of a sudden his eyes were glowing. And it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the angels. And I fear that his days, I wonder, may be wrought on earth. And now, my father, I am here to petition thee and implore thee that thou mayest go to Enoch, our father, and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling place is amongst the angels. So Enoch was already going back and forth from heaven up in the high places back to earth. That could be like a UFO abduction. Don't know. And when Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me to the ends of the earth, and for he had heard that I was there, and he cried aloud, and I heard his voice, and I came to him, and I said to him, "Behold, here am I, here am I, my son. Wherefore hast thou come to me?" And he answered and said, "Because of a great cause of anxiety have I come to thee, and because of a disturbing vision have I approached. And now, my father, hear me. Unto Lamech, my son, has been born a son like of whom there is none, of whom there is none." So yeah, first guy to be like this. And so think about the out of Africa theory, and they're saying like everybody came from Africa. Then all of a sudden, where did all these white people come from? And then a lot of times we want to go. There's so many theories that oh, they came from the Neanderthals and stuff like that. I think the Neanderthals were a remnant of Nephilim, and they're gone. They're destroyed. And a lot of fossils that we have are Nephilim that got destroyed. They find giants all the time. They're not going to tell us that. We come from Noah. All right, whether you're white or not. But also they had wives too. So you got to put them into play as well. And he answered and said, "Because of a great because of a great cause of anxiety has come to me, and because of a disturbing vision have I approached. And now, my father, hear me. Unto Lamech my son has been born a son, like whom there is none, and his nature is not like man's nature, and the color of his body is whiter than snow, and redder than the bloom of a rose, and the hair on his head is whiter than white wool, and his eyes are like the rays of the sun." Wait, let me go down. Eyes are like the rays of the sun. I lost my place. Like the rays of the sun. And he has opened his eyes, and thereupon lighted up the whole house. Lighted up. And he arose in the hands of the midwife and opened his mouth and blessed the Lord of heaven. He's just like, hallelujah. And his father Lamech became afraid and fled to me, and he did not believe that he was sprung from him. He said, "That baby ain't mine." And that he was has the likeness of angels of heaven. And behold, I've come to thee, and thou mayest make known to me the truth. And I, Enoch, answered and said unto him, The Lord will do a new thing on the earth. And this I have already seen a vision, and make known to thee that in the generation of my father Jared, some of the angels of heaven transgressed the word of the Lord. And behold, they commit sin and transgress the law, and have united themselves with women and committed sin with them. They were fucking and have married some of them, not all. Some of them were just baby mamas, and have got children by them. And they shall produce on the earth giants, not according to the spirit, but according to flesh. And there shall be a great punishment on the earth, and the earth shall be cleansed from all impurity. So that was the first destruction where they took out all the giants. And his son, and this son who has been born unto you shall be left on the earth, and his three children shall be saved with him. When all mankind that are on the earth shall die, he and his sons will be saved. And now make known to thy son Lamech that he has been born in this truth his son, and call his name Noah, for he shall be left to you, and he and his sons shall be saved from destruction, which shall come onto the earth, and account all the sin of unrighteousness, which shall be consummated on the earth in his days. And after that there shall be still more unrighteousness, that which was first consummated on the earth. For I know the mysteries of the holy ones, For he, the Lord, has shown me that in the form. Sorry, someone's texting me. For he, the Lord, has shown me and informed me, and I have read them in the heavenly tablets. And then it goes on and on and on. So Enoch is saying that that's your son, but it wasn't. And so I'm only gonna kind of show you kind of like what basically he was albino. So he kind of looked like this. This is just an African albino, you know, African features, but everything's up, the eyes and the hair, which are commonly Caucasian. And you got to think about kind of how Africans treat albinos, and still to this day. There's the stories where they think that they are magical. Albinos are sometimes killed for their for magic purposes, for their bones, for their blood. People were hunting albinos in Africa and still do. So it's very scary for people who are born in Africa and have albinism, sorry. And some were thrown out of their villages. So if you have, because this is a recessive gene to have albinism, and if you have enough people who are being thrown out of their village, what are they going to do? They got to survive, right? So sooner or later, you're going to have all the albinos get together and they're going to just start procreating. And I think this is where you have more of the recessive gene, and then you still have uh, angel dating with people even after that, because uh, we still have myths from other countries about gods mating with people even after the fact. And so you're going to have more people who look like that. So there's a lot of people running around with angel blood. This is a story of Atrahasis. I'm not going to go into this one, but instead of Noah, this is Atrahasis, and the god Enki is instructing Atrahasis to build a boat to save his family. In the story, there's another story with Zasudra. Let me see if I can get that one. And Zasudra is another Noah, and this is from Mesopotamia. And he's told by the god Enki, and Enki is a Sumerian god. It's also one of the Anunnaki, one of the head Anunnaki. So this is not just a minor god. This is Enki is like Lord of the Earth. He's like everything. So there's two brothers, Enki and Enlil. And this is where I'm thinking where these two brotherhoods, these two bloodlines come, because everybody with Rh negative ain't right. Some are from the bloodline of Enki, and some are from the bloodline of Enlil. Because I think on both families they've mixed with humans and created these hybrids. And some of us are either on one side or the other. And so Enki is telling Zasudra to build this huge boat, which he can get right out the flood. Yep. Then there's a story of Utnapishtim. Now, are these all the same guy? The stories are very similar. This one is from southern Iraq. So these places are very close together. But now just go with me with this one. What if they're all three different guys? What if Inky was just hoeing around? But there's still kind of the similar stories. But this one is from the ancient city of Shurapak. I don't know if I'm saying that right, in southern Iraq. Excuse me. And so Utnapishtim is told by the gods to build a boat. I think it was by Ea. Or, well, it's still Inky. Inky to abandon his worldly possessions and to create a giant ship to be called the preserver of life. Marduk is said to have been the originator of the flood and the seven sages. Oh, I didn't know about that one. I'm gonna have to check that out. Like I said, these are all different stories, and I think it would be really interesting if it was three different sons, and that could also show the diversity of where all the races came from. Um, but that would be interesting if it was. And would Inky have to save Noah, Utnapishtim, Atrahasis, whatever you want to call him, Zasudra. What reason? In the book of Enoch, it says he looks like one of the sons of God. Then he's used to basically repopulate mankind. Now, Enlil was the head of all gods, and his desire was to wipe out all of humanity and leave no survivors because everybody had been mixing with the angels, and there was Nephilim all over the place. There were hybrids. You got cyclopses walking around. You got all types of anything that we've seen in myths of people who are half human, half animal. The angels did that, or the aliens, whatever you want to call them. Are they angels or are they just alien beings from another dimension? But whatever they are, they have a leadership of two families, Enlil and Enki. And Enki was dipping his toe in the water too. And that's just my theory is that he got with Lamech's wife. She ended up pregnant. She had a hybrid child. And because he's a head god, he's one of the Anunnaki gods, that blood flowed through him. And he didn't come out as crazy looking as some of the lower angels who were mixing and having wives. Because there was the Agigi, I think, and some other ones, and they were doing that. But they're a whole different branch. They're not Anunnaki. They're a lower branch of angels, and they got punished. And so Enki kept it on the low. He was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lose my son, and basically gave him some plans to build a boat. Boom. He has 3 sons. Boom. Next thing you know, we're all got some inky blood in us. So this is where I'm thinking where RH negative camp comes from. Because all you need is O, A, and B. 3 sons. O, A, and B blood. Okay. And they mix with other people, and you get your O negatives. So, and you get your B negatives, and you get your A negatives, and you get your AB negatives. So this is my theory. Go with me with this, and this is why a lot of RH negative people have special abilities because we come from another world. We've got Anunnaki blood, and we can see some things. But all humans have a recessive Anunnaki blood trait. That's why when we mix with other people, our children, if I get with a woman, it could happen. And she's not RH negative, she's gonna have all my kids are gonna be half breeds. But if she has a trait and she's recessive, maybe they'll be negative as well. So, anyways, I said all that to say because my mom was all like tripping and she was asking me all these questions, and I just rather make a video about it, and just talk about it and see what you guys think. I know I've talked about it before. I've made some videos about the Anunnaki, but this is just my theory of where RH negative comes from. And I think it's going to help us to figure out where are we going now because the world is changing very quickly. The world is changing very quickly, y'all. And a lot of disclosure is coming out about, aliens and otherworldly beings and them being in the ocean. I already knew they were in the ocean. Been knowing, had a dream about it, which is another trait. Being able to have dreams about things. So, anyways, I want to get your 2 cents about it. Leave me a comment on if you've read the Anunnaki, not the Anunnaki, but the Book of Enoch. What do you think about this story? And the origins of RH negative blood? And what do you think is our purpose here? I may have to do a reading. Let's just do one now. Let me pull one card or a couple of cards. I don't know. I'm gonna pull just a couple of cards here, since we're talking about it. And you guys, if you gotten this far, go ahead and hit that like button for me because it will push me up in the algorithm, and I need it, please. What is the purpose for RH negative people on this world right now? What is the purpose of RH negative people in this world right now? Creator of all, please give me insight. What is the purpose? The Nine of Staffs, the Two of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. This is a choice. And look, we've got that Two of Swords. We have a choice. It's not something that we have to do. but this is a decision that everybody with Rh negative blood has to do. Okay, it's a decision. The Two of Swords is saying, let your intuition guide you, use your mind, your will. You've got this Nine of Wands and this Queen of Swords reverse. This is both this energy of protection and also being selfish and just kind of protecting yourself. So there's this energy of defense, um, this energy of blocking. So I feel like there's two different ways you can go with this. That Two of Swords there in the middle, because the Queen of Swords reverse, this can be a very negative energy. I told you, there's two types of people in this world. And the Queen of Swords is one who is blocking people, who's cutting people off, who's destroying people for no reason. So you can use your powers for good or evil. The Nine of Wands is a protective energy. So if you choose the right path, nothing's going to happen to you. Kind of like the flood where Enki protected his children or his child. And I believe like whatever we're going through the whether it's the pandemic or whatever else is coming, you're going to be protected. So just know that. And then on the bottom of the deck, we've got this Eight of Staffs, which means there's going to be some very quick energy coming through. I feel like this guy's throwing the staffs. And I feel like this energy or this power or this spiritual download is coming through. The Ten of Swords talks about an ending coming. And then there's the Justice card. It talks about balance, karma. When we get down to this energy of what are you doing with your life? Are you a good person? Then you'll be protected. So it's not so much of what we need to do. It's about us making a choice. Are we going to be selfish or are we going to just help the world any way we can? Okay. All right, y'all. I don't want to rant all day long, but yeah, be sure if you like this video, hit that like button for me, please, and subscribe to my videos. And I will talk to you guys later and make your reality happen, because if you don't do it, then who will? Peace out.